and there was a lot of empathy for Israel. And then with the Jabalia refugee camp being bombed.
Deputy Mayor of Jerusalem, her name is Fleur Hassan-Nahoum. I interviewed her in Jerusalem. I was blown away by this woman. Her energy, her passion, her love for the city of Jerusalem was just absolutely incredible. She was on Andrea Mitchell's show on the televised mental institution known as MSNBC. And Andrea Mitchell, who is a Jew and a Hamas apologist, here she is blaming Israel for the rise of anti-Semitism.
Talk about the conflicting imagery, which is so painful for all sides. But you had this savage massacre on October 7th, and I've seen the video, and it is unspeakable. Yeah. And there was a lot of empathy for Israel. And then with the Jabalia refugee camp being bombed, and now the hospitals, you know, Europe is on fire with anti-Israel protests and messaging. The U.S., now we see this counter march today, which is trying to balance it out. But there are problems all across the U.S. as well, and anti-Semitic incidents. Is there a better way for Israel to process this war? Something that the U.S. has been urging quietly and now publicly in terms of using smart bombs, not dumb bombs, smaller munitions, more ground than air strike.
Well, Andrea, you know, this is a war we didn't ask for. We didn't provoke. We didn't start. It was something we never expected to have 2,500 terrorists come in. And you saw it yourself, hours of torture, innocent babies who were decapitated, pregnant women whose stomachs were open, babies taken out. You know how horrific that was. I don't know of any country that wouldn't want to go and defend its citizens from essentially an existential threat. And not just that, the leaders of Hamas are saying, we're going to do October the 7th again and again and again. So Israel has been put in an impossible situation. Now, Israel has the strength to flatten Gaza, but we're not doing it. We're putting our soldiers, our young men, in harm's way, going door to door, because we're a moral army, because we don't want to kill innocent. We have opened a safe passage from Shiva from the first day, and Hamas was shooting people outside and not providing the safe passage. We're talking about electricity and fuel and incubators. Underneath Shiva Hospital, there's a whole nerve center of a terrorist base, which is bigger than the New York subway. Now, what's fueling that? They've got, according to our intelligence, months of fuel down there, months of food and months of water. And so essentially, we're protecting their citizens more than they're protecting their own citizens. That's what the world should be outraged about. We can always have these image Olympics, and one image is worse than the next. I'm not justifying anything, but we are in a war. There's a difference between war, which is ugly, and war crimes, which is purposefully going for innocent citizens.
Meira, is it not as simple to say that if Israel would just use smart bombs instead of dumb bombs, that people would be less against Israel? I mean, she's just extraordinary, this woman. She's just absolutely insane. But actually, you were with me in Jerusalem when I interviewed the deputy mayor. I think you introduced us, actually. She was incredible. She's an unbelievably effective communicator for Israel. I mean, she just reiterated something that you said earlier, actually.
I think there's an interesting misconception that people think that the smarter they are, the more complex they get. And the truth is, the truth is simple. The truth is simple. It's not complicated. And Fleur does it in the most unbelievable way. First of all, you know what? If you could create a smart bomb, so to speak, I think she should get off her show, try and invent one, because she'll become a millionaire if she can do that, probably a billionaire. But it's just a ridiculous notion to make, and it just shows the extent and the just unbelievable, again, ignorance that comes to this around this entire conflict. Whatever. But I think that Fleur speaks for the Jewish people, for most of us, and definitely for the Israelis. This is not complicated. It is not a complicated situation. Everyone's making it out to be, but it's not. Hamas are responsible for both. Israel is responding morally to every single situation it is put in, to an extent that we're sacrificing our own people to ensure that there is no innocent life left. No innocent life is taken for no reason. Our soldiers are dying in Gaza instead of them just blitzing it. It's what I said before. It's not that I believe in the blitzing of Gaza whatsoever, but it's a possibility, and it wouldn't be a crazy response. I think even this in the past, Pearl Harbor, Hiroshima, right? There's a reality to the fact that when somebody comes in and says, we want to kill as many people as we possibly can, the response to that is to respond with strength and not to respond with weakness. And the fact that we're being requested that time and time again is a joke. And I think that going simple, uncomplicated, reiterating the same messages over and over again, Hamas is responsible, we are trying to do the right thing. Hamas is responsible, we are trying to do the right thing. There is no other option. Come up with a better solution, you can't, is the way to go forward.